Hi, welcome to the Get Miss Toy. I'm your host, James Hart, and with me is,
Bill Duncan.
as always,
Yes, as always. Here or there, not really.
today's topic is books versus comics.
Well, I make the argument of a difference between comic books and graphic novels.
Right.
And the literal concept behind it. And knowing the styles of even writing. Same with cartooning. There's certain types of cartooning that is actually more of like, an art to copy in a sense, but doing the same. But I don't know, it's like tuning a guitar with some things.
But you would maintain that books and comics are very similar, though, right?
Yeah.
They both tell a story. Like the graphic novel you're talking about is almost like a hybrid of comics and books.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a long read. It's not like a simple, flimsy, like 30 pages. I mean, they're more of an asset to invest in now, because you never know, you might be down on your luck, and being a fanboy sometimes pays off. So if you have a collection you can live off, you shouldn't worry.
Well, I would have to say books. I prefer books over comics, just because the stories seem, I don't know, more involved. You can get more out of a novel than you can out of a comic, because there's more information, there's more story, there's more character, there's more morality, there's more psychology, there's more philosophy, it's just more in it. It's a bigger chunk. It's like comparing a movie to a TV drama or something.
Well, it's a visual art, right?
Yeah.
They kind of lump it together on some things.
Well, how much is the visual worth? How much is the visual worth? Like, is that seeing your comic characters like jumping through the sky with like webs or something? Is that more exciting than like reading about a conflict between two people in a story? Like, it's personal preference, but like what do you see in comics?
Well, reading comics and taking any type of medication at the same time is sometimes fun with comics and that stuff. And it's weird because, I mean, you gotta remember these things are more of like, the older they get, the more flimsy and the more they can't even crack them open. But it's an investment, and at this point, it's something that you should. I mean, I don't really want to collect wine or anything, but certain collections do have a strings in my heart.
Yeah, I'd say comic collecting is like one of the best collections you can have, because it's like they generate they're worth more money over time, and they're just interesting.
Yeah, they're assets.
Yeah,
they're personal assets that anyone our age should know that. Yeah, there is some money to be found eventually in Silver Age, and that's what I tend to collect more of now. How's it going?
So comics versus books.
Yes.
I'm on the side of books. You're on the side of comics.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing
what
too.
Would be your
there's
example comic? Which is your lead comic that's gonna come up to the vanguard and like fight my best book?
Well, it's weird because, I mean, it gets addictive. Like, certain comics, like even when the 52 was revealed in DC, is for people who didn't normally read comics, rediscovered comics and kind of compared it to like a miniseries on TV. It was that strict. Well, it spoke of everything with both formats, being illustrated and written. And it was like, people who wasn't reading comics before got kind of interested. I mean, there's certain universes, like, which I always refer to as well, multiverse, where there's alternate other ideas and alternate things that could be happening in a parallel dimension.
I would think projection would work better in a book because you can get more engrossed in a book. You can like totally like lose yourself in a book.
Yeah, you can meditate to a point where, yeah, you're using a good half of your imagination just to make up the visuals in your own head without seeing them on a screen or anything.
Yeah.
So that is kind of valid, and I do agree to that extent, but I don't know. I mean, I'll even name off a couple things that were actual movies you didn't know. Like, I think the one is Law Abiding Citizen. Or, yeah, I think it's one of that.
Citizen
and these
Kane?
are like all... Yeah, I think so.
So what's the last comic you bought?
I think, yeah, I got some new stuff in my collection, but I just forgot what it is. I think I picked up like, what was it the other day? I've just actually been finding things here and there, and even in my own house that I haven't seen for a while. Like having missed a shirt for like 2 years and I don't know where it is, and then stumble across it. That's even with the shit I have in my collection. Like, somehow these plop into my lap, and I have the most fun with them. Just reading those like stories that when I was little that I used to remember and adored over.
Like from Marvel or DC or both?
Kind of both.
Yeah.
Because I
Do you
did
prefer one?
I mean, I can explain both universes, DC and Marvel, but I don't know. There's benefits on both sides, I think. Especially with the whole idea of secret identities not really being like secret anymore. Registration or else. Registrate your abilities and you'll be like watched by the government kind of shit. And you have to you have to register yourself to be a superhero. And that means giving up your secret identity. But hey, I don't know. It's a good cause, because like in the Marvel Universe, with the Civil War, what actually happened, like Peter Parker, Many New Spider-Man, or the death of Captain America killed in cold blood, and other like minor other superheroes that have bad happenings too with them.
So,
More about the politics of that vigilantes and supervillains or super criminals to superheroes. With even with the mutant immigration and all that stuff and all those like, wow, I have to admit, like Days of Future Past, that was the best movie so far when it's compared to the other Marvel movies. I was really impressed by it.
what are the other Marvel movies?
Well, they have about like they're revealing like certain phases, and they've just revealed their like third or fourth.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they're trying to release at least 2 to 3 Marvel movies a year, so 3 a year. And they're trying to make that mark. It's probably because of Disney and how Disney is run, and even how Lucasfilms, aka the Star Wars franchise, and how it like the best thing it would happen with all the accessories and like the action figures and stuff. Lucas got all the rights for the toys and marketing, and the studio feels, we shouldn't have done that, but they did it. They didn't have any idea how big Star Wars was going to be and how it would ripple with like James Bond movies in space and like really kind of gay things. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I also remember certain years and certain like. I think it's understandable that there are certain places in history where we get so fascinated by like assassination or politicians being proven they're crooks and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know.
Which
With
brings
all
us
the
to
corruption and
which brings us to our
oh
next week topic is going to be on politics in comics, right?
yep, because I've been looking into stuff, and I mean, yeah, it goes hand in hand. I mean, even originates in the golden era of the 50s and 40s, where it was like Captain America and, yeah, the first few real superheroes. Because technically, Captain America is like the first Avenger. And, yeah, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be dropped down on May. The new Avengers movie. So, yeah.
One of my favorite books is Blood Meridian. It's a story with this character. He's just called the Kid. He's like 14. And he goes through all this struggle and stuff. And what I don't see is like how a comic can rise to the level of like a novel and actually like tell a great story. But I haven't read that many comics, so.
What about Billy the Kid? Remember about Billy the Kid? He was a total gunslinger, a maverick kind of types, kind of anti-hero for the Old West kind of thing. And I mean, yeah, and for a while, the kids of that era liked cowboys and Indians, the Lone Ranger and Bonanza and all that stuff. They had had to do with the blooming 50s that basically that had the benefits of the 80s. So a generation, well, my parents' generation compared to ours, which is basically around Generation X still. So, yeah.
So you think a comic can rise up to what a book is?
Yeah, because it's something that makes it you have fun with your own imagination, what you depict, what you read, or what you can hear, and you put it under what you fetch out as your own idea of how you like absorb it and look at it, and how you fetch it. And it's just like, I don't know, I even feel like some things with like my ongoing storylines, I just like start running with something and yeah.
Well, the Captain America is dead is kind of interesting. It's like a superhero dead. So like that might be an interesting one for me to start on or something. But
yeah, because I know there's a few of us that did it.
When I look at comics, it's like I want to read a story, and I look in, and I see the words and stuff. But then I see this guy like stretching on a building in tights, and it's just like I'm off. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what is the hardest? Like, I think when Image Comics came out, there's like Spawn and stuff, and I thought then now superheroes are gonna be cool because there's like the art was even better, but the stories were the same, and it was the same sort of drawings. Like Spawn was in tights, wasn't he?
Yeah, and sometimes even with the underground kind of indie comics, like there's a lot of cool ones even. Like I used to love collecting and still do Dark Horse Presents, and that came out in like 84, 85, and it ran into like the 2000s even, I think, or late 90s. And yeah, it's a really, really cool kind of anthology of comics. And it explored everything